Man, people are gonna have a field day making fun of me for this one. So it's true. I quit my software engineering job at Silicon Valley. Now, on face value, you might think that I am absolutely insane for making this decision, especially in the current job and tech market. But before you make any judgments, I would really appreciate it if you would just hear me out until the very end before going down to the comments and absolutely shitting on me. With that being said, if you do, I will be making a responding to comments videos, so just a heads up. So why did I leave a software engineering job at Silicon Valley? Well, let's start off with the obvious. About 10% of the reason why I left my job is because I don't like software engineering. Just straight up, point blank, I do not enjoy programming. I think it is a very individualistic job. I hate being isolated from people around me. It just feels like I am alone all the time, and if something goes wrong, you are always to blame. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the main reason on why I quit. My place of employment, which will remain unnamed out of fear that I will be sued, sucked ass. To be quite frank, I absolutely hated it. I hated every single second of it. Why? Because my managers suck cocks. Sorry for the very flavorful language around here, but it's true. I hated how they treated me. It felt like I was being targeted for some reason, and honestly, to this day, I really don't know why. Let's start off by calling out a very obvious point, which was the favoritism coming from my manager. Now, I was a contractor at that position, and I also had a contractor alongside me who started 2 months after I started working there. And I started to notice a very obvious point when my contractor friend started working there, and it's that my manager absolutely loved him. He treated him so well. He would say thank you after every little thing that he submitted. Even if it's just a one-line code change, he would feel the need to give him a lot of praise, partly because he was hired through a referral from this manager. Now, for me, I was the only person at the company, believe it or not, who was hired without a referral. My manager actually reached out to me personally to hire me. I know, I thought it was a scam too, especially in this economy. I know. So let's say we are in a meeting and my manager asks me a simple question. Now, when my manager asks me a question, I always have this sort of heart drop to my stomach moment, if that makes sense, because it always felt like I was avoiding traps when I was answering these questions. All of his questions felt like they were phrased in a way to humiliate me in the middle of a meeting with my fellow engineers. So he would ask me a question, I would start off by answering, I think, blah, blah, blah. He would then cut me off immediately, scream in the middle of the meeting, saying things like, no, 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 no. Do you think or do you know? Do not start answering a question with I think if you think and you do not know. Now, you might see that and you might say, well, he's just trying to nudge you in the right direction. He's just trying to mold you into this goated software engineer of sorts. Well, that could be true. I am not going to, attack you for thinking that. But what really bothers me about that is that when another contractor or an intern or a senior engineer, whoever it may be, starts off answering a question like this, I think maybe it goes something like this. They would never get cut off. They would never get any abuse from the manager. It was only targeted towards me. Now, maybe I am his favorite son and he just wanted to turn me into this thick-skinned software engineer where nothing can really penetrate my feelings. You know what I'm saying? However, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not here to just flaunt or, be overtly confident. My life hasn't been easy. Okay, and the reason why I say that is that I believe that I have built pretty much a very thick layer of skin where not a lot can really penetrate it. I don't really get offended easily. Hence, I'm a YouTuber, man. You can go through many of my videos and check the comments. A lot of them are shitting on me, man. But I'm still here. I'm still happy. I'm still living my life. But when there is such obvious favoritism going on in the workplace, it rubs me the wrong way. And I take it personally. I will say that. I took it personally. Now, of course, you might still be watching this video and thinking, man, that's not really that big of a deal. Well, I just gave you a small microcosm of what was actually going on a day-to-day basis. Okay, that was only 5 minutes of an 8-hour workday. A lot more stuff was happening. And honestly, I have talked about it so many times throughout my channel. I will leave some links in the description if you guys really want to go into a deep dive and really see just how fucked my manager was. Let me give you guys just a small crumb here of what was happening, just a little bit extra over the videos that I'm going to put in the description, okay? For instance, recently I made a feature where you can click a button called subscribe, and basically what that button does is you subscribe to an email sending service, and every now and again, if a user adds a comment on the page that I put the subscribe button on, you would get an email saying, hey, someone commented on this page. Okay, you basically subscribe to an email sending service. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone here knows that's what it's called. It's called subscribing to an email sending service. Now just hang with me here. I know it sounds like I am ranting. Just hang with me. I present this feature to my manager and he proceeds to absolutely shit on me. He cuts me off mid-presentation and he goes, why on earth did you name it subscribe? I was stunned. I was truly and utterly stunned. The requirement was make a button that allows users to click it and then they sign up for an email sending service. That was the requirement. I called the button subscribe. That was my first mistake. I thought that the industry standard of signing up for an email sending service is called subscribing. And if you want to sign off of it, you just unsubscribe from it. Okay, that's pretty standard in my opinion. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, okay? Everyone knows that is the industry standard. It's called subscribing to an email sending service, okay? But my manager doesn't let things like that slide. He always feels the need to nitpick and point out everything that's wrong with this feature. Now, in my opinion, nothing's wrong. It's called subscribe. That is the fucking industry standard, you fucking dumbass, okay? I am the only one in that office, by the way, who has front-end experience. I just want to point that out. That being said, he proceeds to say, did you do your research before naming it subscribe, or did you just do it without thinking? Now, many people would see this and still not consider it as an attack, but you need to remember that this is mid-meeting in front of many software engineers, and it started off by cutting me off and screaming, saying, no, 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 no. Why did you decide to do that? Did you think or did you research? He proceeds to say that you will never ever get another job in the tech industry if you do things like this without doing your research, if you do things without thinking. Now, my friends, if you need more convincing, again, I highly recommend you check the videos in the description. This is just a small microcosm, as I have said at the start of this video. Now, many people might not think this is enough to get me to quit. You might say, in this economy, nothing will ever let me quit my job, especially if I'm working at Silicon Valley as a software engineer, which is the dream of many, many, many people around the world. I am a very lucky individual. That's what you might say. However, my friends, let me tell you what pushed me off of the edge. Last Wednesday, I walk into the office and honestly, everything was fine. The vibes were immaculate. I was enjoying my time. There was pizza in the office. Everyone loves pizza. The clock hits 5. I am going home, baby. Here we go. However, as I am heading out with my fellow contractor friend, I hear him and my manager whispering about something. Under their breath, it was like they didn't want me to hear it. Very suspicious, right? They were whispering something about next Monday and how it was a big day. Okay, that sounds fine. I mean, it could be anything. Monday could be, I don't know, the Super Bowl for all I know. I don't watch American football, so it could be the Super Bowl. I don't know what's going on. So as we are leaving, I ask my fellow contractor friend, hey man, you mentioned something about Monday being the big day. What exactly were you talking about? And after some very, I don't want to say I was pushy, but he was very hesitant to tell me. He was like, it was like he was ashamed. Because we were very friendly. I considered him my friend. And he was just, very hesitant to tell me what was happening. It was like he knew something was wrong. He proceeds to tell me that he has just accepted a full-time position at this company. Now, you might look at that and you might think, congratulations, which is what I said. However, I need you guys to remember something. At the start of the video, I mentioned that this contractor friend of mine started working 2 months after I got to the company. So I have a little bit of seniority over him. 2 months, not a big deal, right? However, let's keep going. The man only has a bachelor's degree of computer science on his resume. I have a bachelor's degree of computer science on my resume. I have a higher GPA. I have internship experience as a front-end developer, which is what they are using him for currently. I also have 2 certifications, and I started 2 months before him. Now, you still might think, hey man, maybe he's just that much better of a software engineer. Maybe they like him. I would like to point out a couple more points here, and I want you to focus up. Number 1, he was hired through a referral from the lead manager, the principal manager of the office of our engineering team. That's number 1. Number 2, there was never a mention that there was an available full-time position. I have always been under the impression at the company that I am a mere contractor and a contractor only. These managers have been telling me profusely that if I make the same mistakes as previous employees, my fate will be the same as theirs, which is getting fired. That has been drilled into me since the first day I started there. So think with me here, okay? There has never been any impression that there is a full-time position up for grabs. Also, they have drilled into me that I can get fired at any second since day 1. And they proceed to give a full-time position to this contractor without even making it known, without even interviewing, without even making it fair, in my opinion. And that pushed me off the edge. It really did. I have been thinking about quitting for a very long time because of the many bullying instances and just straight up targeted attacks coming towards me. And that pushed me off the edge. I turn around, I go back into the office, and I say, hey, I would like to resign. As soon as I said the word resign, one of my other managers turns around. He was having a conversation with another employee. He turns around, he looks straight at me, and he says, bye. And there it is. There it is, my friends. The true face has finally been shown. Little did he know that I proceed on to say, I will stay on for 1 more week as to hand over my work to my fellow contractor friend so that he doesn't get overwhelmed. Even though I believe that it was kind of a sucky thing to do, I will not call it snaky. I will not call it snaky because he worked for his best interest. He got the full-time position. And honestly, I don't want to say I would have done the same thing. I probably wouldn't. I would have at least mentioned it to him that, hey man, there's a full-time position up for grabs. That's what I would have done personally, but I cannot really blame anyone for following their best interest in today's economy. After I said that I was staying on for next Friday, the mood changed from bye to, oh no, why are you leaving? Again, the mask was dropped for a split second there, and that is when I knew I made the right decision. That is when I knew. Again, I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, I know I rambled on for a while there. However, what I do want to say is that I am glad I made this decision. I am happy. No matter what anyone says in the comments, if anyone comments, who knows if anyone's even going to see this video. I do not care. I really do not care. You can have your own opinion. I think I made the right decision. So what comes next for me? I'm thinking of switching careers, man. Not totally. I still want to be in the tech industry. I'm looking at stuff like technical solutions engineers, just anything that can make use of my social skills alongside my actual technical skills. Because I feel like I don't want to be stuck in this bubble of programming my whole life, And honestly, it hasn't been the greatest start so far. So fingers crossed that goes well, man. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows where life takes me? I would also like to say that I've been streaming. I've been streaming for the past 10 days straight. I've been streaming this game called Kingdom Hearts, which is one of my favorite video games of all time. Honestly, it's been really getting me through this tough time. I'm not gonna lie. Meeting a lot of you guys, people who are in the tech market, people who are interested in gaming, anyone. I just absolutely love talking to you guys, honestly. Streaming has been so fun. And I'm streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, so this is a little bit of a plug here at the end of the video. And honestly, I urge everyone to just hop in, man. Hop in, drop a question. It doesn't have to be about Kingdom Hearts, I'm not gonna lie, 30% of the stream is me talking about like the tech industry and how my job is going. So everyone's welcome, honestly. I'd absolutely love to see you guys there. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub if you guys haven't already. That being said, have a good one.